In a weak quarterback class, everyone is chasing that day 2 or day 3 sleeper that they can take who is going to become a long-term starter in the NFL. And there are definitely flashes to Kyle McCord's game that tell me that that could be him. He can read a field like no one else in this class and has the tendencies to be accurate in certain situations, but he is an absolute statue and can fall to pieces under pressure. If you like this content, please consider liking and subscribing, but let's take a little bit of a deep dive into one of the potential sleeper quarterbacks in this class. Hello. There are definitely a lot of things to love about Kyle McCord, and one of the reasons that I'm doing this video on him is because I put out a tweet asking for people to say some sleepers they fell in love with. He wasn't on my initial list, but I'd seen enough analysts that I respect talking about him that I wanted to take a look for myself. And there's definitely a few qualities that show that he could be a starting quarterback in the NFL. One of these is the quick release. He does have an incredibly quick release, which is something that I was impressed with and will really help you when you get to the league. But the main thing is that I think he is one of the fastest processors in this class. He is able to diagnose coverages within a few seconds and can read a field like a veteran, but also he tends to read back to front, which is really encouraging because that's the way that things will tend to work when you hit the NFL. I also think one of the positives, but also something that's going to come up in the weaknesses as well, is that I think he approaches with a true gunslinger mentality. He is not scared by a defense and wants to challenge them and take the game to them. This means that he's mostly looking for that big play, which is always exciting, and that lack of fear is something which will excite teams. But we'll come on to the weaknesses of that a little bit later. He also, particularly in the intermediate level, has great accuracy, so 15 to 25 yards on timing based routes and then finding holes in zone coverage. This is something that I was really impressed with. He does understand tempo, he can work the full field, and particularly, working to the boundary on these intermediate routes, his accuracy is genuinely fantastic, which was really encouraging to see. However, there are definitely some negatives as well. There is a reason why this guy isn't viewed as a consensus top quarterback in this class, although some people do seem to think so. The first thing is the very limited athleticism. This is a pocket passer and someone who will definitely, considering this is a fantasy channel first and foremost, he's going to bring absolutely no rushing upside. But that athleticism also means that he struggles to climb the pocket. There's definitely examples when edge rushers are very clearly there, but he just doesn't have the agility and athleticism to climb the pocket and get away from them. He does have some ability to roll out of the pocket and make things work, but he really struggles with moving in the open field. I also think one of the main issues with him, and this touches upon something I'm going to say a little bit later, but he will lock onto his first read. He has a great ability to understand coverages, but he has that mentality of, I can beat it. It doesn't matter to me if this is a 50-50 ball. It doesn't matter to me if it's a 20-80 ball. I'm going to throw to this guy and they are going to go and win. And that is something you are not going to be able to do in the NFL. That is something which is going to get you benched immediately. So he needs to learn to, while he can read a defense, to then actually be able to progress through his reads to make that work. And this is kind of an overarching point about that gunslinger mentality. He is a very aggressive quarterback, which is exciting at college. But in the NFL, you need to learn to take what a defense gives you. There was an opening season game in 2022 where the Rams played the Bills, and the Bills, who were known for obviously having Josh Allen, who is a true gunslinger with that elite arm, first drive, slowly marched their way down the field, dink and dunk, scored a touchdown. And that is what you need to be able to do in the NFL. Ultimately, the points count the same, no matter how quickly you score them. And you're more likely to take turnovers or just throw in completions if you are constantly looking for that deep ball. So the fact that he doesn't really seem to be able to just take what a defense is giving and move on to the next down is a real worry to me. Also, his base mechanics really disappear under pressure. He is relatively good, relatively solid mechanics when things are going well. This is quite a frequent thing that you see with rookie quarterbacks, that the moment there's pressure in their face, their mechanics fall to pieces. But he needs to work on staying calm under pressure, keeping that footwork, and being able to deliver a mechanically solid pass, which currently I have very little evidence of him being able to do. My playstyle comparison for him is Baker Mayfield if he was less athletic, because I think Baker definitely brings more in his rushing ability and his ability to move around within the pocket. But I think that gunslinger mentality combined with a good arm, although Baker has a better arm, a good level of accuracy, but just a want early on in your career to constantly make the big play. I think that's something we definitely saw from Baker in Cleveland. Now, he has progressed from this recently, but coming out of college as well, he definitely was someone that wanted to have a highlight reel play every time he hit the field. In terms of projected draft value, I think he goes late day 2. There is currently a big group of quarterbacks who are going to go second to fourth round, and I think McCord probably finds himself in the middle of that. I think someone will look at the ability to read a defense and their accuracy and think they can make him into at least a solid backup, but I don't think he's really going to start when he gets to the NFL. In terms of his rookie draft value, in one quarterback leagues, I'm not drafting this player. You don't need to be drafting low upside quarterbacks in one quarterback leagues. There are enough starters to go around and enough good to great starters to go around as well. In Superflex, I can definitely see him ending up as a priority backup or even maybe a low end starter if things go well for him. But probably the fourth round is going to be a good home for him. To be honest, I don't really like taking quarterbacks in Superflex that aren't drafted in the first round. And if they are someone I'm taking a little bit later, I need it to be someone with an athletic upside. So someone like a Jalen Milroe, who, go and watch my video on him, by the way. I love him for fantasy. But for McCord, I don't think he really has that upside. So fourth round, just in case he hits and pulls things together. But to me, it seems unlikely that he's going to be a starter when he hits the league. Let me know your thoughts on McCord down below in the comments. I know some people absolutely love him, so I'm sure I'm going to get some pelters for the fact that I didn't really, I just liked him. And while you're there, please consider liking and subscribing and checking out all of the other rookie profiles available on my channel. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.